All right, everybody, how's it going? Welcome to Know Your Gear podcast number 187. No, I didn't put that in the description, but it is number 187. If you're new to the podcast and you're watching the rebroadcast, I take the time every live show to index or put question index on all the subjects and things we talk about. I always think it funny every week. Somebody goes, "Hey, I was watching your show, but I'm not going to sit through all this to get to the part that was on the title," and I still don't think they understand what I'm saying. So one more time, all the things we talk about in this during this podcast, if you're watching on YouTube, is timestamped, so you can go right to it. It's super easy. Everything else, if you're here live, always remember, you just put a question mark first. That way I know you're talking to me if you just want to start a subject or a question. And if you're listening to it on a podcast streaming, just sit back and I'll do my best to use words to describe things that you're missing on the visuals. But on that note, couple things I think we should a couple bits of news about the channel. First, I want to say that thank you guys so much again, over and over again. You guys have been killing it on the merch lately. I ran that the 2020 Sucks sale, and I told you guys I'll extend that out. It's to the rest of the year. In fact, what I decided was the 2020 Sucks sale, which is 20% off all the Know Your Gear merch, is good till we hit 300,000 subscribers, because at 300,000 subscribers, obviously we redesigned the logos. I'm wearing the Subdued logo. This is the logo where it's just dark instead of the white logo. But the logo will change again and again. It changes every 100,000 subscribers. It did it 100,000, 200,000, and 300,000 as well. So just letting you guys know, that's when the sale ends. So just don't worry about it if you want to save some money for the holidays. I don't think we'll hit 300,000. We're shooting for February. I think we're at 286,000 subscribers today, so we'll hit 300,000 speculatively around February. That's exciting. Other thing exciting today is we hit 72 million views on the YouTube channel. So there you go. That's maybe a celebration we should celebrate. Thank you guys for that. That's all you guys, and I appreciate it. I like having the community to hang out with. So we did some stuff last week. It went really, really well. So we're going to do it again this week. So of course we'll be answering questions, talking about subjects during this show. But also I'm going to do my 5 pieces of gear and a new segment. So we'll do that once it slows down. Already, I saw I got a super chat. I just wanted to do a shout out to JSL Project. He did a super chat last week. Again, same thing. He did it, just said, hey, he's working again during the show. We'll be watching tomorrow, having a good one. Dude, I appreciate it so much. I hope you have a fast day at work. I'll tell you tomorrow, if it makes you feel better, maybe it won't, maybe it will. Tomorrow, JSL, when you're watching this, I will probably be doing the dumbest thing I've probably done in, I can't say my life. Let's just say the last 10 years. I have agreed to do the Hot Ones challenge, not officially on YouTube, so if you guys know what that show is, with my kids. If you don't know what the Hot Ones challenge is, there's a show I highly recommend it. Most people are going to enjoy it. Basically, it's a show where people eat 10 spicy chicken wings, getting hotter and hotter until insane. My kids and I should say my kids challenged me to do this thing. So tomorrow I will be eating, we're doing 7, I think, or maybe 8 spicy wings, everything from habaneros to ghost pepper to all that crazy stuff. I will let you guys know next week how that ends. I'm thinking not so good for me. Both my kids are extremely competitive. The rules we wrote were, of course, you have to make it to the end of the chicken wing challenge, eat all the chicken wings, but then you get points, and the point is for the person who ate the most chicken and spicy stuff gets a point. The person who drinks the least amount of water gets a point. The person who drinks the least amount of milk gets water. And we decided to treat ourselves after this to some vanilla ice cream, because I heard that might help. And the person who waits the longest to eat any of the ice cream or skip the ice cream gets a point. And I'll let you know who wins. I am definitely not. I'm not saying I'm not going to win. I'm definitely not going to be feeling awesome. So JSL, I'm sorry I have to work today, but at least think of that tomorrow when you're watching this. I'll be in some serious pain. For those of you guys that don't think spicy food's hot, it's no big deal. For the rest of us, this is insanity. So there you go. All right. Yeah, Max says it sounds like ouch. Yeah, it's going to be bad. I don't know how they con me into this. So, all right. We should probably talk about some guitar stuff, and then that way I don't even have to think about this. By the way, I like William put an emoji of water. Yes, it'll be great. Okay, so let's get to it. Matt's got a question. He says, "Hey Phil, do you think it's worth putting Fender Abigail Ybarra pickups in my Mexi Strat? I only paid $450 for the guitar. If it means the Strat will then be absolutely perfect to me." Okay, so I'm probably the worst person to ask Matt. My Fender custom shop Strat. I have some of you guys know, I have a Fender copper cost. I should warn you guys today. I'm sorry, during the podcast. I wanted to do it on Black Friday because I wanted to hang out, but I should warn you guys. You might hear dogs barking, constructions, drilling. There's construction going on in the house. So, all right. So if you hear my dogs barking, it's probably because they're doing construction stuff. Back to the Abigail Ybarras. So why I'm a horrible person to ask. I bought a custom shop Fender Strat. You guys have seen it. It's copper. I've had it for years. It came with, or it had Abigail Ybarra pickups in it, and they were good. They were really good. I didn't particularly love them, and it's nothing against her or the pickups. It's just, they were good pickups, but I think there are tons of pickups out there, so I'm kind of the wrong person to ask. What I will say is this. As many pickups as I've tried, as good as those are, I've found so many great pickups for a lot less. And the secret to pickups, the secret pickup thing I've learned, for me, my secret, I should say, my little tidbit of advice to you, Matt. When it comes to pickups, what I think usually works best is either finding a small builder who's making you some really nice pickups by hand, because they generally do all the right stuff, right? There's some magic to making pickups that once they put these on these automated machines, they just kind of lose a little bit of that. And when I say magic, mistakes. The mistakes are the magic. The mishaps, that happens. Hey, I just personally as silly as it sounds, I still believe in the hand-wound pickup sound the best. And so when you find those small builders that build pickups, I think you're always going to find those diamonds in the rough, especially for the price. What I mean by that is when you buy a set of single coil pickups for $139, $149 from a small builder, you're getting a great deal. You know what I mean? You just are. They put a lot of time in it, and they'll be great pickups, as good as anything else that you don't have to pay top dollar for. The other turn of that coin, or flip of that coin, I should say, is that I've also learned that the highest production pickups, like the standard pickups you see from Duncan and DiMarzio, tend to do really good too, because again, that's a different kind of a formula. That's not the small batch run. That's the large batch runs where they're working on consistency and they're going to give you a great product. So that either way, I'm not huge on them, but it's up to you. Again, like I said, nothing bad. I'm just telling you, I wish I still had mine. I'd just sell them to you, but I sold them a long time ago. Okay. Yeah, Victor says, post the aftermath. We'll see. We'll see. I agreed to film it. I said I'd film it. What I do with it, we'll see. I'll let you. Let me put it this way. I'll let you guys know, and then yeah. Okay. Michael, since we're staying on the subject for a second, Michael says, get some Mango Lassie's yogurt drink. I've watched, if you guys watch the Hot One shows on YouTube where the celebrities, eat these hot wings, I've seen all kinds of styles and techniques to do it. And besides just people who just eat a lot of hot food, I've seen the two techniques I've seen to work the best is either alcohol, in other words, drinking a little bit. And my wife said it's not fair. She said, I was thinking I'll take a shot of whiskey before we start, because that's what I noticed with celebrities. When they take a beer or some whiskey before the wings challenge, you kind of numb down a little bit. And my wife says it's not fair, so I'm not allowed to do that. But the other thing I learned is any kind of sweet cream. So like whipped cream, ice cream, it seems like sweet, creamy things do well with the spice. But again, the problem with this challenge is that if I do that, I lose points, and then my kids might win. I have a feeling my daughter's crazy enough to do just literally no water, no milk, all the way through, no ice cream. She's just going to go for it. So Joe says weed. Yeah, well, it's not legal in Arizona until March. So there you go, if that helps. All right. Let's see. Oh, Matt says another super chat because he says he wants to refine the question a little bit. He says another super chat. He says the point of my question was unclear. Really, what I want to know is it worth putting really expensive pickups in such an inexpensive guitar? Absolutely it is. Absolutely. First of all, especially if you do it yourself, especially. And even if you don't do it yourself, here's why it's worth it. You take the original pickups out. I tell everybody the same thing. When you put new pickups in any guitar, just take the packaging of the new pickups, put the old pickups in that packaging, and put it away. If you ever sell that guitar, because you're like, hey, I'm done with the Strat, whatever, and you just put the old pickups back, sell it, and you still have those pickups, and pickups are pickups. You can put them in something else or sell them and get some of your value back. So, no, pickups make definitely a huge difference in the sound of a guitar. They are, in fact, dollar for dollar, they're going to give you the biggest impact. And what I mean by that is if you change out, when people go, oh, put a brass block for more sustain, and or if you change the saddles, or if you change the nut, or if you change, I don't know, the potentiometers, if you change all those components, everything changes the sound, right, and it affects it in a different way. But pickups are going to be dollar for dollar the most impact you can get, for sure. And so, no, it's always I think pickups are always a good investment that way. And especially if you have other friends that are guitar players, because especially if you get a little friend network going, sometimes what happens is, man, sometimes you put a set of pickups in the guitar, play them for a year or two, love them, and then get tired of them. And then you have a buddy who's like, yeah, I'll take them off your hands, and you sell them to him, or, you know what I mean? But yeah, the only thing is, like I said, the only regret you'll have is you put them in there and then sell that guitar, you'll never get anything back. Never put new components, bridges, pickups, tuning keys on a guitar and then trade or sell that guitar off. You'll never get any of that money back. Take that component stuff off and put the original stock component stuff on. That's it. And then you'll either sell that stuff separately or keep it for the next project or guitar. They're likely that you're going to have another guitar. Life is a series of guitars. George Carlin said, life is a series of dogs. Different dogs. And he said, it's a George Carlin joke, maybe in bad taste, but it was the 70s when he said it. He said, life is a series of dogs, and when one dog dies, if you go and get a dog that looks like the same dog, you don't have to change any of the pictures on your wall. Although I think that's probably a little bit in the bad taste, but it's moderately funny. Think about that with guitars. Imagine if you just went through a bunch of guitars that all look the same. No one would know. All right. You guys are still stuck on the chicken wing thing. Joe Harvey says kind of like a car or truck. Same thing. You putting all that stuff on your car, truck, rims, tires, stuff, and you won't get any of that money back. So yeah, to keep the original stuff and swap it. But a guitar is easy because all the stuff that comes off a guitar can fit in an 8 by 8 inch box. Just put it away out of the way. Hold on a second. Huh. No. Oh, there it is. Yakov says, there surely is a difference, but some acoustic manufacturers claim it does not cost more. So who's lying there? You know what? Maybe I'm in the middle of okay, wait. It's between BC Rich and him. They're talking. See, I should have looked for the question mark first. See, and I'm lost already. It's a good time. A couple minutes in, let's go. I want to talk about some of the new stuff today. So I told you guys last week I was going to do a new segment on every one of these podcasts where I highlight like a few pieces of gear that came out this week. So I'm going to highlight them. And this week especially because there's some stuff that's really cool that's on sale. So there you go. The first piece of gear I want to share with you real quick is BadCat Amps came out with a new pedal called the Double Drive. It's made in the USA. It's $199 and it's 2 drive pedals. And I have to admit, the owner, John BadCat, sent me one. So I'll do a review of it, of course. I've been playing with it for when I can, for a few minutes here and there. So far, really impressed. I thought I'd share this with you because it's really cool. That was a new piece of gear. The next piece of gear I'm really excited about, not that I wasn't excited about this, it's the new Snark. There's a new silver Snark. I want to share this with you. I had a cool experience. So a couple years ago, somewhere in one of my mod videos, I did a video where I told you if you have a Snark and the ball pops out and you snap any of these little teeth, there's 3 little teeth on the Snark, you can wrap a rubber band around it. And I also said that I take these clear, these are like the rubber bands I think you have if you have braces. That's probably where I got them when my kids had braces. I just have a bunch of these rubber bands. I promise these aren't the ones they used. And I wrap them around there anyways to reinforce this. And that way I don't have the problem with this. Because what I've learned about the Snark tuners is that when you drop them about 3-4 times. Somewhere around the 3rd or 4th time, one of those teeth break. And so that's my little trick, wrap a rubber band around it. It's cheap and easy. And like I said, before it even breaks, do it. Well, guess what? I bought the new Snark about a week ago, and this is the new Silver Snark. And if you can see, it is from this angle right there. You can see they just put a big black rubber band around there, and this on both sides, and it's reinforced, and they went with a harder ABS style plastic. And then the coolest thing happened, and that's why I definitely wanted to do the mention, was I bought one. I was really excited, and I was like, you know what, I should have bought a 3-pack because I use so many tuners like this. And Snark, Dan Electro, who owns Snark, Steve sent me one, so I got one in the mail. I was like, oh, cool. So now I have 2. So so I have one downstairs and upstairs. So I just want to share this with you. This is on the links down below. And by the way, not all the links I'm going to share with you, just like every time, are affiliate links, but so you are aware, some of the links, if you click those links and you buy some of these products like these Snark, I'll get different percentages. Sometimes I get 1%. Sometimes I can get like, whatever, 6, 8%, whatever. It depends. It's all variable, but it doesn't matter. It supports the channel. It doesn't cost you anything, but I'm just letting you guys know, since I'm putting links, it's a nice reward for the time it takes to put all the links and all the stuff in. So definitely check that out. The next piece of gear that we're going to talk about is the new Fender Acoustic amp. This is the Fender Acoustic Junior Go. Now I want to share, hold on. I want to share that they actually have a few of them. You can see a few models, but I want to just share the Go with you, if that's okay. Here's the 100. I really dig this amp. I'd like to also point out that it comes in 2 versions. There's a $379 version one, and there's a $499 version one. And what I like about it, for $500, here's what you get. You get this. You get 2 channels, so you can put 2 acoustic guitars in it, a microphone and an acoustic, or an acoustic and maybe a bass, as long as you keep it moderate, but you can do it. Or electric guitar. Has built-in effects, has a built-in looper, and you have to buy the external foot switch to control some of that stuff, but the looper still works if you use your hands. But the other cool thing is, especially if you get the $499 version, not that one, this one, is it has a built-in, you can see it says with rechargeable battery or without. For $499, it has a built-in rechargeable battery so that you can take it on the go for 5 hours. So for some of you guys, I don't know if you realize, in the market of acoustic amps, that's a pretty reasonable price acoustic amp. 100-watt acoustic amp that's 15 pounds, that has a Fender 5-year warranty, because that's like their 5-year warranty. It'll probably be like 90 days on the speaker in 5 years. It's made in China. It's an import product because it's Class D power amps. That's all stuff's going to be made Asian imports, but very cool product. That I didn't even see. That's actually something that's probably on my radar to look at getting, is because it's light and easy, and I like having the built-in looper and the battery pack idea, because then I can just take it with me wherever I go. So there you go. The next thing, what's the next thing on the list? Like I said, only a few things. This one is the one I said I was the most excited about. I am. Wampler came out with a Plexi Drive Mini. I did a video of the Plexi Drive Deluxe, the 2-channel one, or with the boost. I'm sorry, the boost feature. But this is a mini. But what's cool about it, which is why I put a link, it's out of stock, but don't worry about that, is it's on sale. So it's $127.47. So not only was I thought it was cool at $150, because if you're looking for a good Plexi pedal on the cheap, on the down low, for a legit pedal, like I think this is made in the USA. It should be made in California. I'm pretty sure of it. And like I said, quality pedal, but $127. I plan to put one on order this weekend. And so yeah, I'm working up a small order of stuff, and so I'll do a review of it for sure. I'll order it just because, like I said, I like the bigger one. So for $127, I think if you're looking for a cool little Plexi type drive pedal, I think it's pretty good. Now, that's the new gear I wanted to share with you. This is I'm going to share 2 other things, just one right now. I put this in here. JHS, the 3 Series pedals, we talked about this a couple weeks ago. They just came out. I just happened to notice when I was looking up pictures for all this stuff to share with you guys that they're on sale. So they're $84.15. So if you thought $99 for a made in USA JHS pedal was a good deal 2 weeks ago, well, apparently you were ready to be blown away with the even more crazy deal of $84.15. I didn't look to see if these things are in stock, but $85. Here's the deal: 15% off. That means you're going to get your tax plus an extra 5% off. So if you guys were on the fence for one of those things, I thought that was a cool deal. So, and I have another thing to share, but let's wait a little bit before we share that. I just want to share, like I said, some new products and some some deals, especially since a lot of the Black Friday deals were not so spectacular. Although I did put a link down below to the deals that I thought were pretty cool. Sweetwater seems to be this year having the best deals on pedals. And I think it's just because, I don't know, I could be wrong, but I feel like pedal sales are probably not that, probably doing great because of, COVID, everybody's still buying stuff, but not comparatively what they were a year or two ago. I don't know. Could be wrong. I don't know. To be honest, I'm just going off me because I haven't been buying as many pedals in the last year. Let's see. What is the next question? The next question is Voodoo Fist. Hey, Voodoo Fist. Voodoo Fist says, I watched your Ingle vid today, and then I ordered Fireball 25 LTD Red Tolex. I wanted the red one. Let me tell you, Henning got a white one. I saw the red ones. Oh, it's so good. Okay, so he goes, I'm going to totally love this amp. I agree, and $25 for the tip jar. Thanks, man. Wow, you're giving me a tip because you bought an amp. That is very gracious. I appreciate that. I really, really like that amp. And I hope, and I'm always interested. So Voodoo, please tell me when you get it, what you thought compared to review. I try to be, when I review stuff, remember my goal when reviewing stuff on my channel, whether a company sends a product or I buy the product or what have you, is to talk you out of it. I don't know if some people don't get the sense of that and some people do. My job, I don't know if it's my job. My goal is to that if you're on the fence about not getting it, I want to push you over in that fence, right? Because that's the whole point of this. I understand the frustration of not being able to touch stuff, just like you guys. I'm a gear junkie, right? I always kind of point this out. There are definitely YouTube channels that are amazing demo channels, and I think they're great resources, but they're not gear junkies in the idea they're not buying the stuff like I do. So sometimes my frustration is I can't touch it like you guys. I want to buy something. My comment I always say now is we used to try and then buy things. Now we buy to try things. It drives me crazy. I like everybody, I'm frustrated with the world we're living in, but it's the world we're living in. There's no way getting around it. You can't walk in a store and try an amp anymore for the most part, so you got to just buy it online. So you need videos. So I'm hoping that when I make a video that you're going, oh, yeah, now that he said that, maybe that's not that great. Or, oh, he, showed that again, With that Ingle, what I was hoping to convey, and I hope you got this, which is why I love it, is it's definitely the most versatile amp I've played in years, and that's why I like it. Like I said, it doesn't, I say not any one thing blows me away. Really, the high gain thing is killer. If you're into the high gain thing, Ingle nails it. But it does everything so well. It's such an impressive gear. Plus, I like, that it's well thought out, a good product. Again, I guess I'm getting too fanboy on it right now. I really want to try now the Iron Ball because it has the reverb and stuff in it. I did reach out to Ingle afterwards. I sent him the video because I thought the video did good. I sent him an email and I said, hey, I did a video of your product. And I said, what'd you think? Because they sent it out. And I said, if you ever have interest to send an Iron Ball or some pedals, I would definitely do those. And I don't know. I didn't get a response yet. We'll see. So who knows? To you guys, you watch videos like that, and I think you always go like, wow, that was, well, I don't think you think that, but sometimes you may think like, that was a great review. You got to understand, some companies just don't like some of the things I'm saying when you're critiquing things or saying things, So who knows? I didn't get the vibe they hated it. That's good. I got the vibe that they thought it was good, an okay review. Doug says, hey, Phil, I just bought a Core McCarty 594 single cut semi-hollow. What would you recommend for maintenance to protect my investment? You shouldn't have to do much to that at all. Like I said, you could make sure you condition the fretboard. I would say once a year, depending on your climate. But again, don't do it because I said to do it. Do it because the wood looks a little dry. Like I said, just pay attention to the wood. If the rosewood gets a little dry, it looks like chalky. You'll see it. It's like a white chalky. I always tell people it's like, you ever see movies where people in the desert, they get really dry and their lips turn white? That's what the fretboard does. It gets a little white chalky look on it, and then condition that with some. And like I said, I recommend Music Nomad. In fact, so obviously PRS has its own line of care products, but I believe they use some Music Nomad stuff in their factory as well. And then for the finish, you just wipe that down. Like I said, you can use a clean microfiber cloth, or you can use a little teeny bit of guitar polish. Again, I use the Music Nomad stuff. It makes your guitar smell like bubble gum. that's not the appeal to me, but I like it. And the other product I trust is Lizard Spit. And like I said, I've used every product. In fact, somebody keeps pointing out, it's like I have one person who's pointed out like 5 times to me that even though I keep recommending those 2 products, they're like, every time they look in my shop videos, they're like, you have like every product. So, why are you saying Lizard Spit Music Nomad when you have Dunlop and D'Addario? And I'm like, yeah, I do. I literally have every product. Mostly because customers are particular. People are particular, and I can do this recommendation thing all day. But if somebody comes in and says, "Hey, I only use Dunlop 65 polish," that's what I use on their guitar. That's what they want. Because you know why? Because I don't want to ever be in a situation where I use a different product and I go, I don't want to talk them out of their product. I don't want to go, hey, no, trust me, use my thing. And then something goes wrong, and they're going to think that's what happened. Whatever I did. People get habitual. They get in a habit. And they want things to be the way they. So I just do that. But that's it, man. That's all you have to do. That's a beautiful guitar. Man, it's a collector's piece guitar. Let's be honest. It's a beautiful, beautiful instrument. I loved my 594. I had the solid body. When I bought the solid body 594 single cut, they didn't have a semi-hollow. Semi-hollow came out. I sold my 594, and I ended up buying the hollow body PRS. But trust me, the semi-hollow 594 it was going to be that or the hollow body. Excuse me, but man, I'm talking a lot and my throat's going to go dry. Nathan says, hey, Phil, what Stratocaster pickup set would you recommend for a 90s rock type sound? What are your thoughts on the DiMarzio Billy Corgan set? I like the DiMarzio. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I like the DiMarzio Billy Corgan set. In fact, if you want a 90s rock sound in a Strat and you're looking for pickups, I think any of the definitely like the tone zones and all the bladed pickups from, I'm not pigeonholing to just the 90s, so you guys know. I like them for all kinds of things, but definitely look at those DiMarzio blade pickups. Definitely look at the lace sensor pickups. Those are definitely in the 90s rock sound when you look at those pickups, because those are the pickups that were there. Think about the pickups that they were using in the 90s, and that's going to be what's in the music. The gear are ingredients in those songs, right? Those songs are made with obviously talent, but gear. And so you just find the gear that was used in those songs. And I would say if you're thinking about getting the Billy Corgan set, I love the set that I tried in the guitar. I did it for a customer about 2 years ago, and I really, really liked them. And I have versions of that in one of my Strat. So very, very cool. Okay. What else? We haven't even talked to... Okay. William says, hey, Phil, thank you for informing me about Stringjoy. You're welcome, buddy. I'm working on my Stringjoy video. In fact, that's yesterday during the Turkey Day. If you live in the United States, yesterday was Thanksgiving. I was working on how to execute this crazy video with Stringjoy strings that I'm working on. And I think I found the angle. So I'll hopefully have something for you in a week or so. Because it's been a tricky thing. I've come up with a couple ideas for this to try this cool thing with the guys from Stringjoy, and I'm really excited about it. I presented them with an idea earlier this year, like probably February, right after the NAMM show, and they sent me 8 sets of strings to execute this video. But sometimes the idea of the video, you have to storyboard it sometimes. You know what I mean? Like how are we going to end up where we need to end up to explain this to the viewers, what the logic is. So I think I worked it out, so I'm excited about that. And then I need to refresh my screen because you guys are like locked. All right. Millen wants to know, I think it's a Millen. Millan wants to know, Phil, what do you think of PRS SE 24 coil splits compared to a Strat? Look, I personally... The best coil splits I've ever heard, were on the Paul's guitar, which is the Core and the SE. That did, for some reason, that did the best that I've ever heard. That being said, every coil split is a compromise. So no coil split has the magic of a Strat pickup. It just doesn't. It's there. I think it's not because I think it's because, and I've always tried, I'm always trying a way to explain something, what you're hearing, in words, right? Take the thing I heard in my ear and put it out in words. And here's what I think the problem is. I think a coil split can make a guitar sound like a Strat, but a Strat, a single coil pickup has a feel. There's a physical thing. You hit the string, the snap, the dynamics, not just the bright sound or the tone. That tone is part of it. There, just because I've used on this channel, I've done pickup simulator pedals, and yeah, same thing. Just setting EQ, you can get sounds of different pickups, but there's a dynamic to the sound that is usually has something to do with how much space the pickup is picking up, the type of pickup, all that stuff, and that physical thing is never there when your coils split. Now, that's fine, because to the audience, I don't think they're ever going to be able to tell the difference. So if you're trying to and that's where it gets a little tricky. There's a time in your artistic part of your time where you're like, look, I'm just trying to make this sound right for the audience. And then there's a time that you're trying to find a sound to inspire you or to help you create the thing you're trying to do. And so when it comes to coil splits, I like the SE24s. So it has nothing to do with the make and model of the guitar. For me, what I've learned is certain pickups, when you coil split them, they just don't sound that great. So the SE Custom 24 pickups, if I recall, a little hotter mid output pickups, and then I tend to like them. It's, you know what I mean? I tend to like the single coil tones, coil split off the hotter pickups. And I know it sounds unintuitive. I think if you go, if you want a good single coil tone, you would get like a PAF, a lower output pickup, and coil split that. And that depends on the single coil you like. See, my problem is, and I've said this many times, I'm not in love with the 50s era single coil pickups. I like the late 60s. To me, my favorite single coil tone is the Hendrix tone. So I'm not looking for the bright chime. I'm looking for the heavy, what I call the thwap. I think I actually heard Paul Gilbert say that word, thwap. THW, thwap. Where the note just thumps out. And that's what I like. Hendrix hitting that note and bam, it just kind of cuts right through you with mids and focus. And that's definitely the 69 era or the late 60s pickups where they started winding them a little hotter. That's what I like. That's what my ear is driven to. And that seems to work with the amps I use. So, but a lot of players like the 50s era pickups. Let's see. Somebody said WAP. Yeah, WAP. Okay. All right. You know what? Let's go to another segment on the show. Here's a new idea I have. Tell me what you think. So since I would highlight 4 or 5 pieces of new gear every week, I thought this would be fun. I'm going to show you the deal of the week. Yeah, that's right. This is cool. I put links to this stuff. This was on Reverb. These have come up so much in price. I remember you could pick these up easy, $250, $300, $350. This one still looks like a good deal in today's market. So what I'm showing you guys, I'm showing you a used guitar. So yeah, it's not like I'm saying everybody jump to this link. The truth is only one of you can buy this. This is a Godin. I don't want to, hold on a second. I don't want to upset our Canadian friends, okay? It's Godin. Godin guitars. Godin, French. Godin guitars is this guitar, deal of the week. So this is a Godin Redline 2, which means it has a translucent red top. I think I have a closer picture of that. Nope, let me go to that. There you go. There's a black speck in the picture. I'm pretty sure after looking at all the pictures, that's just for some reason in this picture. It's not on the guitar. This has EMG 8185 in it. So essentially that's a $200 set of pickups. Has a hardtail bridge with string through. It comes with this deluxe Godin gig bag, which are very good gig bags. This is easily a $70 gig bag. So the Godin Redlines, what's cool about them, they don't make these anymore, not the way they used to, because they shut down the New Hampshire facility. These were assembled in New Hampshire, so this is essentially American-made guitar. I should say U.S.-made, because somebody's going to say, well, technically, Canada is America too. I understand that, but America seems to be the one that always says America with an M. America made. Anyways, this is made. This is made in the United States, assembled from Canadian parts. So It's got a maple neck, rosewood fretboard. It's beautiful. It's basically if everything that you would love from like a nice made in the USA Jackson type guitar, or maybe made in Japan Jackson guitar too. This one's $450 plus shipping. I think they want 50, so it's $500. But it's got to make an offer. Anyone out there looking for a good deal? There's a black one on there too but it's all scratched up. It's not as good condition. I don't think it's going to hold its value as well as this. There's also a red one for $50 more with a Floyd Rose. But anyways, but this guitar, if you're looking for a good guitar and you're in the market for something interesting, I would check that guitar out if you like those kind of guitars. It's a smaller body shredder guitar. It's definitely going to be everything that you love about those American Jacksons and stuff. But you could probably throw an offer. I would throw an offer for $350. Wouldn't it be funny if this guy gets 15 offers for $350 at the same time? You'd be like, what the hell's going on? But yeah, I would say $350, see what he says. I think if you pick it up for $4 and then pay $50 for shipping, $450 basically is the deal. So right now, but like I said, just a few months ago, $300. But, you know, in the new market. And the market's been slowing down a little bit. But I thought this would be fun. So if you guys like this idea, I'll do this every week too. Always a used piece of gear. I'll go on Reverb. I'll look to see what I think is cool. We'll talk about it. It's just fun to talk about stuff like this. Like I said, the red lines are always been cool. You can get single pickup red lines. They have a trans orange guitar. Very cool. And like I said, also don't be afraid to poke around now that you know about these red lines. Like I said, if you go on Guitar Center used, sometimes you'll find these for $250, $200. If you find a dealer sitting on one, they'll drop price fast. But to see one in this good condition with the EMGs, because sometimes people yank out the EMGs, it has a battery compartment in the back. Like I said, if you click on the link, you'll see all the detailed pictures. But the deluxe gig bag, it's legit, like I said. So if anyone, I know some of you guys get the hankering for a new guitar, and I thought this would be a fun thing to do. So, is do something like this. So if you guys like that idea, let me know in the comments if you want to do this every week. Pick one guitar, we'll highlight it, and we'll talk about it. And then that will be a fun challenge for me because I'll have to try to find stuff that I think will maybe impress you guys. Maybe you'll be like, yeah, I've never heard of that. Maybe. Let's see. Okay, what else? Hold on. Sometimes I forget to refresh my screen. Where am I at? You know, we're talking to Stefan. Stefan says, Stefan, I don't know. I'm sorry, buddy. Says, hold on, I got to read it because I understand what he's saying. It says, okay, so he's asking, how different do Alnico and Alnico? I say, we were just talking about this yesterday. It's because where I'm from, frustration with no R. We sell Alnico. It's Alnico because it's aluminum and nickel, right? So it's it's Alnico, and so he wants to know how different is Alnico and ceramic magnet pickups in sound and characteristics, and what would you prefer? Sure, they are very different in sound, and the magnets do make a big difference. I have because I still have the problem. I have a problem. I wound some pickups. Me personally, I wound some humbuckers, a set in Alnico 2, and then I wound a set in Alnico 5 to go in the Somnium guitar. And I've always said, oh, I'm definitely an Alnico 2 guy, right? I don't know why. I think it's because, you know, it's like more of the vintagey kind of thing. Anyways, I wound them and I tried to match everything up, and I thought I did a good job. And what happened was I put them on the guitar, and I was shocked to find that the Alnico 5s every time they appealed to me. They just had a different snap to the note. There was a different low end curve. In other words, the low end just was smoother, and I just loved it. The problem is, and this happens a lot, I filmed it, and when I was editing, you can't hear crap. So that sometimes, no matter how many times you record it, the recording comes flat. And I try to stay away from that crap. So, you know, what I mean by that is sometimes, you know, on YouTube, they're like, look at this, listen to these two things, you can't hear a difference. And you're like, well, you know, sometimes it's because YouTube, you know, the compression rate and all that stuff. And once it's digitized, it's hard for it to come across. So sometimes you get lucky and it comes across great. So I think it has a big difference, especially in the types of pickups. But so, you know, I don't have a preference by any means. I love ceramic Magnum pickups, like P90s. Like I said, some of my favorite pickups, if I was going to say some of my top 10, like single coils, top 10 favorite single coils, the old Mexican Strats, cheap pickups that they used to put in Mexican Strats. I used to love those. In fact, I still have one of my main Strats that I play all the time. The bridge pickup, I think I've said this before. The bridge pickup is a made in Mexico ceramic single coil, and then the other two are Alnico 5 single coils. So I love them because they just have a very P90 punch. In fact, I like to tell people, as far as I'm concerned, not the new ones, not the Player series, because they changed everything to Alnico makeup. But to me, the old Mexican-made standard Tellys and Strats, those pickups almost just in the makeup were more like P90s. That's why sometimes, I like them more. And sometimes you like them less, because I always thought the made in Mexico Tellys lacked the telliness. You know what I mean? They didn't have that total telly twang going on, but man, they had that more telly P90 punch. So yeah, it's to answer your question, they are, what's different about them? Well, like I said, different magnets, different copper wire. It all has a big difference. Or sorry, take that back. It all has a difference. The differences are kind of small in the whole of it. You know what I mean? But it's still different. So depends. All right. Fred says, well, hold on, Fred. I got to drink water. I don't know why I announce it all the time. Sorry, guys. Fred says, hi, love the show. Thank you, buddy. He says, I want to build a Super Strat HSS Fender body. I like Super Strat distortion from DiMarzio. Okay. But I don't know which single coil which will go good with this humbucker. Thank you. Yeah, if you're looking for something, I don't know if you're looking for noiseless or not noiseless. What I would recommend, if you're going to put a DiMarzio Super Distortion in the bridge, I have had great luck with the HS3. I've also had really good luck with the injector pickups by DiMarzio. And of course, don't forget, like, you can go with like the cool rails and stuff like that. You don't have to put DiMarzio pickups in it at all. You can put any other brand. You can mix and match them however you want. But I think it's, sometimes it's just easier. You know what I mean? Because you can find stuff that matches up. But if I was going to try something, I would go, like me, a great Strat for me would be like the HS3 in the neck, and I think the HS2 in the bridge. Basically, it's the old Yngwie Malmsteen noiseless pickups, which are fantastic. Put those, and then the Super Short in the bridge, and it just sounds great. I always thought Yngwie's DiMarzios were some of the best sounding single coils. In fact, I have always said this. I'm not a big fan of noiseless pickups, but those are the few I like. So, BK did a super chat for no reason. Thank you, BK. Dio says, hey, Phil, have you ever seen a Somnium guitars? No. Hold on, buddy. I'm going to get there. Says you can swap pickups and body parts in seconds if you want. They're made close to me in Florida. Love the show. Yes, I have heard of Somnium guitars. I don't know where. Maybe right there. Yeah. So Dio, yeah, I have heard Somnium guitars. I have a Somnium guitar. I have the Telly that I worked with them on. That's when we made that. And I have a bunch of videos. So I'll put links when I do the index to the. I'm pretty sure it's on a playlist, and so you can check it out. Now, so you guys know, it has nothing to do, Dio, you did nothing wrong, because a lot of times those videos are not labeled like that. Sometimes companies like that, if you guys haven't figured this out, the game that is played now, if you want to be fair, and I try to be fair, is, look, if I'm going to review a Charvel, the title is Charvel, whatever, review an Ibanez, because you know why? You guys will watch that. When I try to show people something new, and you see this on the other YouTube channels too, try to show something new, like Somnium guitars or, Paoletti guitars or whatever, it's the views go to crap. No one watches it. And to be honest with you, it's confusing because you think, well, that's the stuff we know you haven't seen, because like I've done reviews of companies that have sold 7 guitars. So obviously only 6 other people know what they are. So what you tend to do is clickbait or title the videos differently. You know what I mean? So you might say something like, I think that video it's called The Impossible Guitar. like the Impossible Burger. The idea is that way, and it worked. It's got 104,000 views or whatever, right? So it worked. It drew people in and they watched it. So you tend to, at least I do, I tend to, if a product is different and I know you don't know the brand name has no clout or value to the title, then I'll tend to title it with something else that's more that something might be relevant to you. Like, I checked out this, type of guitar instead of the brand. So Dio, yeah, I have a bunch. I love the guitar. I use it all the time, all the time. I can't say enough great things about it. Still one of my favorite guitars. By the way, I'd like to take this moment. I'm going to feel bad. I'm going to regret saying this loud. I know it's going to come back to haunt me. I said this when I reviewed my Somnium guitar. I said it when I met the guys at Somnium. Relish guitars beat Somnium to the marketing market. In other words, they got their videos out with a ton of YouTubers with a budget. Somnium didn't have a budget. They had, I think Trogley did a video, and then that wasn't even really that positive a video for the product. It was just okay. And then when they talked to me, I said, I came at them a different way and said, hey, can we change some things? I think the viewers might appreciate it more if we change a few things. And they were very receptive, and we had a great experience. And when I got the guitar, I was super, super blown away. In fact, so blown away, I can tell you right now, just my opinion. That's all it is. Just an opinion, guys. But this is in my opinion, the only pickup swappable guitar that's worth the crap. I said that before, and I think I got a little heat for that because everybody's like, well, the Relish guitars. I'm like, look, I met the Relish guys, super nice guys, great looking guitars, great guitars, but they're missing a key element, which is I want to change my pickups. I want to do it, right? I don't want Sweetwater or some company to install a pickup into a frame and send it to me. I want right now at home to be able to put any pickup in a guitar in a minute. So anyways, the reason I pointed out is I saw the Relish guitars. If you guys still love the Relish guitars, and I know you guys do, they're on blowout at Sweetwater. So go check them out. They're on sale. So there you go. But I still swear by the Somnium guitar. There you go. Absolutely. I still love it as more today than I did when I first got it, maybe like a year ago. I don't think it's been a year. I think I got it right before COVID. Just feels like a year now. All right, Grumpy Mike. Hey, Grumpy Mike, he says, I ordered a Spark amp yesterday, and it's all your fault. You know what? That's a good fault for me to have. He says, my Katana is getting nervous, and why not? You know what's funny is I sold my Katana 50. I'm not going to say I regret that, but I like the Spark for the practicality. Like I said, as a desktop amplifier, it sounds great. I still like the Spark. I have it down in the shop. You guys have seen it. If you've seen all my shop videos, it's right behind me, sitting behind me. That's what I use to try every guitar and play through downstairs. I love it. Still like everything about it. It's legit. I would love to get my hands on the Yamaha THR10 and do a comparison. And I might do that. I thought about buying a Yamaha. I've talked about this a couple times. Think about buying one to do the video comparison. So that way, any of you guys out there thinking about which one to go for, you can go for it. The only thing is, most of the time the Spark's cheaper. So I think that leans into it. But Grumpy Mike, I don't think you'll regret it. I don't think all my buddies who bought a Spark have been happy with it. No one's been like, Phil, it's amazing. Did you guys see Jared Dine's video on it? If you haven't, check it out. It's funny. But everybody says the same thing. For the price range, for what it specs out, it's a really impressive product. So, but it doesn't take anything away from the Katana. I still like the Katana. The Katana is just a different beast. Like I said, I wanted something smaller. Al says, wife bought me a Firefly 338 or 338 for my birthday. Eventually, I'll swap tuners for Grovers. The Grovers. Oh, they say basically saying he has Grovers. He goes, what are your suggestions for humbuckers pickups to play blues and jazz? Sure. Well, Fireflies, the ones I picked up, like I said, I did in my best series videos, I gave the Fireflies, the ones I've touched and worked on are great. It's a hollow body. You know what I would do if I was you is I would put in a set, go online, right? If you want to, kind of keep it simple, I would get a set, either the blues set, since you said blues or jazz, get the blues set of Seymour Duncans, which is like dual 59s, or maybe get a JB and a jazz, but I think dual 59s. I would go dual 59 Seymour Duncans, and then I would get the Oh my goodness, I hate it when I cannot think of what things are products called. Triple shots. I would get the triple shots. I just thought of it. So Seymour Duncan makes a pickup frame called the triple shot. And so if you're going to install pickups in your hollow body guitar, let me tell you the easiest way to do that. Take your old pickups out. There'll be 2 wires to those pickups. Cut those wires, right, a little short, so the wires are sticking out of the body. Solder those to your triple shot pickup frames from Seymour Duncan. And you'll just put all 4 conductor wire to that, and then you'll have the ability to go coil split, out of phase, in phase, all the variables. It's an amazing thing to do, and it's easy to install. And now that I say that out loud, I need to make that video. How am I going to make that video? I have just settled it. Last week we were talking about what product should I buy. I will buy the new Epiphone ES335. I will buy that for sure, and I will put the triple shots in it. And to make another viewer happy, I will put in the P-rails. And I'll do that video and how I do it. It's a trick. When I say a trick, it's a lazy ass thing I do. If you can get it. So there you go, Al. I will knock that video out. It will happen as fast as I can get the product. So that will be what I will order this weekend when I get my my Wampler Plexi pedal. There you go. All right, Jeff says, EMG X series, ever used them? Sure, of course. Supposed to be dynamic, less compression, thinking HSS replacement for an 81 TWX, SAX. Yeah, of course. I've used all the EMGs, and I like all of them. I like EMG Selects. I had this with a buddy of mine. Actually, you guys may know him by reputation in a couple videos. Brian from Paint Huffer. He brought me an 80s era Charvel, and it had EMG Select single coils on it, and had an Invader in the bridge. And because of the way that guitar is routed, you can only put, unless you want to router it, you can only put EMG pickups in it, single coil pickups. And so we were talking about what to change it to, and I said, dude, believe it or not, I love EMG Selects. So I got him an EMG Select humbucker and put it in there. And he loves it, and he's like, I can't believe it. I said, yeah, I love the EMG Selects. So yeah, I love the X's. The only EMGs I never really loved, okay, and they're fine, was the EMG TWs, which are the coil splittable ones. Nothing wrong with them, but for some reason I just never loved them. I had a Schecter Hellraiser with EMG 8185, and I always loved that guitar. And then I switched to a Hellraiser that had the EMG 8185 TWs for coil splitting, and they were okay. Like, I just never felt like the need to coil split them. Even though I think EMG does it different. Like, I think it's like a half power thing. It's been a while. It's been a while since I've installed a set, at least 3 years on an EMG set like that. So, all right. What else? What are we doing? Okay. We gotta stay focused. I'm also looking at my itinerary to make sure I covered everything I'm supposed to. I did. See? We're staying focused. It's good. Max, his question says, hey, Phil, do you know any major pickup brands that offer coil taps on their stock humbuckers? Not split, but tap. Oh, great question. Well, first, let's make sure everybody understands the difference. So sometimes we say coil tap, and sometimes we say coil split. It's very confusing, especially Schecter, I think, was one of the ones that made everybody nuts forever. They used to have little tags hanging on the knobs that said coil tap, and they were actually coil split. I think they're corrected now. So a coil split would be where you have two coils, like a humbucker, right? These 2 fingers. Hey, and one, could you imagine if I did the wrong finger on this and I go, oh, you take one off, right? So you go, and one coil goes away. For those watching the podcast, you're missing this comedic genius with my fingers. Anyways, so you have two coils, and you coil to coil split one, which you would basically turn one off. You did defeat one, so there was your single coil. Okay. A coil tap would be where essentially they wind the pickup, so basically think about the humbucker as a whole, and they tap it. In other words, they run a line halfway, right? So So imagine even like a single coil. You wind the pickup halfway, and then you run the line off, and then you continue to wrap it. And with a knob, you can pull it and cut off half the coil. So in other words, you're decreasing the power by half. That is a very generic way to explain this, but it is correct in the genericness of it. So a coil tap different, right? Especially in a humbucker, because you would not get 6-cycle hum because you still be running 2 coils. It'd just be running at basic half power. And I hate using the word power because it's not an actual term for this, but you understand what I mean. I know it. So the question is, who does that? I have no idea. I don't know. Most companies have learned that if they want to do that kind of stuff, they do weird, kind of odd, splitting of pickups. They do different wiring systems to achieve this, wiring schematics versus just winding the pickup that way. But I don't know if anyone knows. Anyone mess with that lately? Nothing I've seen from DiMarzio or Duncan. Those are the 2 biggies for that stuff. So Mad Genius says, have you tested the Inspired by Gibson Epiphone 335 yet? Nope, but I just committed myself to buying one, so I'm going to buy one. So I'll buy one, and but it'll be a Sharp Max, which works out great for me because I talked to the guys at Epiphone about maybe sending one out so I could do a comparison against my Gibson, and I thought that'd be cool. But if I end up buying one, what I'll do is I'll just do a Sharp Max video with it. I'll show you guys. Let's just do it. I'll get it, and I'll do what I was talking about. I'll show you guys how I think the best way to mod a hollow body's pickups is the easy way, the easiest, fastest way. Not the best way, the easiest way. Shinkadillo wants to know if I gent. I don't gent. So, no, I don't gent. But I listen to gent music. That I don't know if that counts. I also listen to country music, but I don't country. All right. Let's see what else we're doing. Okay, what else we got? Remember question mark first, guys. I'm looking for okay, I'm just looking. Some of you guys. Hold on. Oh my goodness, I hate it when I'm this quiet this long. Sorry, guys. Jeff says, hey, Phil. So I'm new to Phoenix and new to your channel. Do you work on guitars? If so, how does one get a hold of you? Oh, it's easy. Yeah, I do. But COVID has made that a disaster. So I have been working on guitars, and it's just been, really, to be honest with you, it's just been all the customers I know really well. In fact, I took 2. That's what I was saying. Financially, it just was, trying not to curse, it was horrible this year because I shut down from doing repairs for 2.5 months during the lockdown in Arizona, and I felt like that was the right thing to do for my family and stuff. Man, did that just kick me in the balls financially. But I'm fine. I'm good. It's been a good whatever. But anyways, so yes, to answer your questions, I do. It's been a little on the trickier side because of COVID. It's been a little tricky. I've been really selective how I'm doing stuff. But Jeff, to answer your question, just go ahead and message me at Ask Know Your Gear, or actually PMcKnight7. That's who actually, when customers respond or send me emails, it's PMcKnight7, and we can get you taken care of. It's just been, it's like, we got to do it like that appointment. I've done everything, so you know. In the last 3 months, I've done everything from drive to people's houses and knock out 6 or 7 guitars at their house, to go people pick up their guitars and bring them back, to have, people. I've been creating all kinds of scenarios where I can accommodate people the best I can under these conditions. It's been a mess. But it used to be you just had to come to me and I'd work on your guitars. It used to be easy. But COVID makes everything suck. That's why the promotion code is 2020 sucks too. had to add the 2. Sucks too. Okay, so if you want the discount. Let's see. Kirk says, Phil, I know you're a Stu Mac fan. Have you ever used GA pickups? I think you're talking about their line of pickups. Yeah, I've done some in the Sharp Max videos. They sent me a bunch of them, and I tried a bunch out, and I dug them, especially when they put them on sale. And Yeah, and you're right. I am a StewMac fan. Like I said, I think I've told you this, guys. This is kind of funny. I was just telling my friends this just yesterday. I had a couple friends over for Thanksgiving. It was a very small get-together. But I was we were going through my tools, and I was telling them, it's kind of weird. I have doubles of almost all the most important tools now because all my StewMac tools are old. I bought them like 15, 20 years ago, and I've been using them ever since. And then I would do videos for you guys with my StewMac tools, and then StewMac, everybody's like, oh, StewMac likes working with you. And I mean this in the greatest way. StewMac's been super nice to me, but really what's funny is StewMac really had, when they sent me all these tools, at first my wife was excited. She's like, oh, they're sending you tools. But they really sent me everything I already had because they needed newer versions that are relevant, because a lot of my stuff doesn't look like what their tools look like now. So, yes. But yeah, the guitar antiquity. No, not antiquity. What are they? Golden Age. That's what it is. You said GA, but I think it's Golden. Yeah, Golden Age. GA. Yeah, Golden Age pickups. I like them. Haven't found a bad one yet. So nothing that I found that I didn't like, especially for the price. Like I said, they'll run sales on those things. Okay. And as you know, if you're a StewMac fan like me, you gotta wait for those coupons. If you guys aren't signed up for their mail thing, I know some of you guys, you can sign up for the thing where you get the free shipping all year and stuff, and you pay a thing, but I just wait for the coupons. They send me a 20% off coupon, and I just buy as much as I can tolerate. So Max wants to know, says, hey, Phil, do you know any major... Oh, we already did Max. Sorry, Max. We're doing Christopher now. Christopher says, hey, Phil, do you have any experience with the mid-'80s AVRI Strats? Okay. Are they worth the price? Really wanting one? No, I don't know anything about them. That's weird. Huh. I'm going to do a quick Google search to see what it finds. And I don't know if I'm... Oh, is it AVI? I'm not familiar with the term. Why am I not familiar with this? This is one of the things it's saying. Huh. Give me a second as I do 5 seconds of research here. So it says the AVRI series from this is 1998, was a revamped version of the previous. Okay. So obviously it was a series of Fender guitars. I'm not familiar with them. I know it's on Strat Talk I see here. So sadly enough, I just not familiar with them. Or it's something that's passed through my hands and I just don't remember. Nothing about it that I can say I'm versed in. So I apologize. It happens, which is funny because it's always weird when it's never weird to find out stuff like I've never heard of that, but it's always weird when it's like Fender Strat type stuff because I love Strats. So it's weird when I'm like, how did I not hear about this? Mac wants to know, speaking of Billy Corgan, what do you think of the rail hammers? I don't think I have an opinion of them. I don't think I've heard them in enough capacity. I mean, again, like everything, I like them and I like those type of pickups, but I can't say yes, I had a set and I like them, but I like them. I know I was talking about his pickups before. I'm gonna stick with what I said before. I like them. Let's keep it up. Shut Up, Let's Talk says, I got an Ibanez RG770DX in laser blue. Love it, but I had to file the fret ends. Yeah, you know what's funny is that was my first Ibanez. Is a RG770 in laser blue, which looks kind of like a green, but kind of like a blue with the bright blue pickups. That was my first Ibanez. That was my first real, I would say it's my first real guitar. That's what I got for graduation. So that's a cool guitar. Very cool. Yeah, I'm not surprised. Dressing fret ends is very common. It's really common. And the internet always talks about like cheap guitars have issues with fret sprout and the fret ends need to be dressed. But I've had it on everything from, $3,000 guitars to down below. There's just, you know what I mean? It's just some guitars don't have the issue. Most do. The Smelly Cats Jazz says, hey, Phil, I know it's not really your thing, okay, but have you tried the Neural DSP plugins? I tested positive for COVID. I'm sorry. He says, oh, he'll be fine. That's good to hear. It says, so I've been trying them the past week, and they're the Pliny, I guess it's maybe it says Pliny. I'm hoping that's right. Pliny 1 is the best. I have not tried the Neural DSP plugins. Like I said, I'm not. That's just I kept trying to dabble into the multi-effects world, multi-processor unit stuff, and like I said, I kind of figured out this thing that works for me, and I've been sticking to that. But I've heard nothing but amazing things from the Neural DSP about that product. I mean, literally, all I've heard from everyone I know is how great it is. David Drake just did a super chat for no reason, and so did Robert Griffith. Thank you, guys. Oh, he did a super sticker. Oh, can I see it? It looks like I don't know what that is. He gave me it's animated. So if you guys can see, I hope you can see it. It's like some running blue glob thing that says goal. That's awesome. Thank you, buddy. Thank you. I'm going to say Woo-Tech because I always say the J silent. Okay, Woo-Tech says, thanks for the weekly show. This time I will justify Super Chat with a question. All right. What microphone do you recommend for recording acoustic guitar? Happy Thanksgiving. Oh, okay. Well, I'm the worst person to ask about that kind of stuff because I am not a studio guy by any means. My studio knowledge is becoming a YouTuber. That literally forced me to go, okay, what's microphones? What do I have to do? Until then, you understand, I've recorded a lot. I've been in bands, but as a bass player, and I was a bass player. So I would DIN and use a preamp, and you know what I mean? It's not something I had to deal with. I've never really dealt with as a guitar player, like what, speaker to mic? And now, of course, I deal with it every day. So microphones, I have a couple microphones. You're talking about for acoustic guitar. I probably have no great recommendations for acoustic guitar. So here's what I do, because I have a different world that I'm in. So what I mean by that is, so I have an SM57. I have the Sennheiser E609. I have a couple condenser mics, AKGs, a couple Shure mics. Like for the podcast, I'm using the typical Shure. What's this? The SM7B. This is the most common mic used for podcast. And I usually defer to my friends who do stuff like this, like podcasting, recording, and I say, hey, what mics do you use? But the reason why I say it's different for me is when I'm using miking my acoustic for videos, I'm not trying to get them to sound great. I'm trying to get them to sound how they sound in the room. And I've learned my YouTuberness. Man, it's stupid the way I'm saying this, but doing reviews, I found I have a different problem than everybody else. What I mean is I feel like I'm in the opposing lane. So when I talk to people who are trying to record, they're trying to record the best sound. I'm trying to get the most accurate sound. Usually you're trying to make something sound better than it is, right? You don't want a $200 guitar. Like when you go in a studio and they mic a $200 guitar, they don't want it to sound like a $200 guitar. They want a $200 guitar. They want it to sound amazing. So they do everything to make it sound amazing. I'm literally trying to make it to where when you hear it, it sounds exactly like it did in the room. So I tend to use stuff that will give me a transparent sound. And when I mean transparent, I mean accurate. I feel like when I'm doing the mix down, the question, I actually have a sticker on my computer right now, and it says, does it sound the way it does? And sometimes, because that's to make me, when I go, well, maybe I'll double track that guitar, or maybe I'll add compression. You know what I mean? Because sometimes you worry, you're like, oh, somebody's going to say this doesn't sound right. But I'm like, but it sounded like it did. And that's the honest, interpretation of it. So to answer your question, that's the thing that sucks for acoustic for me but I'll use usually a condenser mic or some kind of like an SM57, usually not the SM57, usually a condenser mic. And almost everything I use is either Rode or Shure mics for the most part. Ian Ray says, what are your thoughts on tone shaper pots? No brass. What are my thoughts? Well, this is one of those questions. I think we're going down. I think it's today. Today has been, hold on, because I just want to make sure, again, tone shaper. Because when I think tone shaper, I'm thinking you're talking about like the TBX circuit and circuits where you can actually adjust. But I'm also thinking tone shaper is a type of tone shaper wiring kits. So I'm finding online that there's a brand called a tone shaper. tone shaper wiring kits. So as a product, I've never worked with a product named Tone Shaper. So that's what I think you're talking about, is this. That's why I said I apologize if it's not. If it is, like I said, I haven't tried it. But also, if you're just talking about like TBX pots and pots where you can change, it says no brass. So I'm thinking you're saying, hold on, let me look. Yeah, I'm not seeing it because these do have brass shafts. I apologize if I'm not understanding the question, but I found Tone Shaper pots. Like I said, I'm not seeing it, so I'm not gonna be able to handle the question for you. Sorry about that. I apologize. Let's see. Michael says the TBX tone. He says on my Japanese Strat from 1980, it got stolen. They stole my worst guitar. Yeah, the TBX. I have a TBX on one of my guitars and I like it, but I don't love it. It works really good with the lace sensor pickup. So that's what guitar's on. My guitar with laces, I have it on there. All right. Emil's got a question. It says, Phil, do you ever tune by ear? Do you think there's much point to learning for players today? I only tune by ear if I'm alone. I will not tune by ear if I'm playing with other musicians. Even to fight the urge. Sometimes you're just like a half a cent out. You're just a little out, and you're like, okay, I'll just adjust it. I tend to not do that. I always tune. The rule I find that I love is I found works for me is not only tune with a tuner, but everybody in the band should tune with the same tuner. I found that to be very, very calming. Right? Especially if you're, with me, like I said, I tend to play with a lot of musicians in brief settings, like, a stand-in, I'm standing in for somebody, or it's a jam thing or something like that. So that really works for me. But I try to stay away from the ears to tune by ear. If you're talking about the skill of tuning by ear, I think that's something that is valuable. But in today's day and age, it's just not practical for me. Does that make sense? I used to do it a lot more, for sure. But if you haven't played with a piano player, it depends on the type of music you play. You understand, right? Like tuning, right? If you're tuning with guitar player and a bass player, and there's a drummer and a singer, tuning is not really that big of a deal. Okay, excuse me for some of you guys that have just that scenario, and you're going to be like, no, it is. It's not. When I tune with a guitar player, and it's just the guitar player and me, it's a pretty easy thing. Tuning with the piano player, or if you have any a brass section or anything like that, it gets a little tricky. Mostly the piano player. That's where it gets tricky, because you definitely want to make sure that you're not the issue, especially the bass. You know what I mean? The bass is, here's why. And I think, I should tell you this. This is important. Like I said, I know I love guitar and I play guitar, and I've played guitar in front of people many times, but and like I said, I mostly play bass. I've played most bass. Most of my life as a musician has been bass player. What I will tell you about being a bass player in almost every band, there's few exceptions to this. The problem with tuning in bass players is this: the singer generally gets the tone from the bass. So that is true. Singers will tell you this all the time. They usually will lock into to get the key from the bass. So you want to make sure you're in. You don't want that to ever be a problem. Bass player basically, for me, again, every musician's got a different set of circumstances and philosophies. In my circumstances and my philosophies go like this. As a bass player, I found great success in doing two things: locking in with the drummer so that we're always in sync, so we're doing what we're supposed to do as a rhythm section, and making sure my bass is in tune and perfect intonation so that the singer can get a good reference of note. It's key. Right, and that'll help. And like I said, and not all singers will do this, but majority of singers do get their tone is coming from the bass. So there you go. And that, if you don't know, is a fun thing that bass players can do if they just want to be jerks, which is you can play different notes. and throw people's ears off. And I don't recommend you do it, but it is kind of funny if you haven't seen bass players do it. That's why it's important sometimes that you know what you're doing. Sometimes just because you're in the key doesn't mean you're hitting the right note. It's kind of a weird thing with bass. Let's see. What else? Sean says, you don't follow, we knew this was going to come up, so you don't follow the Glen Fricker bass theory. No, I do. It's funny, I'll tell you a funny observation with Glen, because as you know, I've hung out with Glen many times. Me and Glen, always great to hang out with Glen. He's a very knowledgeable person. He's super nice. I love ratting him out. Anytime I get a chance, I'll let you know. He's nice. He's one of the nicest guys I've met. He's intense, but he's nice. So why I say that is, I have learned that his problem with bass players, in my opinion, is with metal bass players. Jazz, blues, even rock, country bass players are different animals than metal bass players, and that's just something I've learned. I've been in metal bands as a bass player. It's a different gig. It's a different feel. It's a different play. It's a different everything. Here's why I mean this. And again, I never want to insult any musician. That's just not my bag, right? So I'm not here to say any musician's better than another, because I hate that crap. I hate the whole I'm better than you or you're better than me attitude in an artistic form. But in the style of it, metal bass players will generally follow the guitar player. So like when I'm playing with a metal band, right, or a hard rock band, I tend to play a lot of stuff that the guitar player's playing. But if you play in the jazz, funk, or blues, you're playing something else, right? I find that's the mentality I think Glen gets tired of, is the guys that just, the lazy bass players. That, not because playing along with the guitar player is lazy, but that whole mentality comes with it. So that's what I think his problem is. So if that helps. George says, what musicians have you met that aren't nice people? That's a great question. And it's not so much, let me think, because again, that's something I don't want to get it wrong. Musicians wise, well, I'm a nerd. I'm easy. So let me put this to you. When I meet musicians, when I meet fellow YouTube channels, I tend to have a Chris Farley demeanor. It's my default demeanor. It's I remember that time when you were like really cool. I get nerdy really quick. So it's a little hard for me to have a bad experience with another musician, because even if they're kind of jerky, I'm being so awkward that how to figure out who is the jerk and who's awkward. I've never had anybody, like, you meet people at the NAMM, you never have anybody meet. I think my problem is I've never met musicians out of an environment where it was time to meet them. Think about that. Everybody I've met is usually in some kind of like a party atmosphere for some kind of event or the NAMM show or something like that. And they're there and they're aware that they're there to be there. I don't think I've ever like bumped into a musician at, at the mall and then try to lock them down with questions. So I've never had a bad experience that way, which is very pleasant. But what I mean by so what I'm saying is I've never had a bad experience with musicians. To me, it's not all musicians that I've met are good people and been nice. Some of them, like Glen, are funny and they're very, very easy to talk to. You know what I mean? Glen isn't standoffish. In other words, I didn't sit there and go, it was like after the third day hanging out with, people like Glen. Glen, he was nice. He was nice in the first 5 minutes, so it made it easy. So. Let's see. Mike says, my awkward card beats your jerk card. I think so. When I met, I'll tell you this story. We'll end on this. I've said this before. Look, obviously, I've been lucky through being going to the NAMM shows, events, meeting some celebrity guitar players. and when I say meeting, I mean I got to shake their hand or stand next to them in a picture and say a word or two to like Van Halen or Paul Gilbert. Those, meet those people for a second. Obviously, I met Steve Vai this year, and he was very nice because he's like, if you saw that video, he was like, "Hey, I know your channel," and we talked about my channel for a few minutes, and that was kind of a pleasant experience. So the reason I say that is I've only had one really bad, awkward moment, in my personal opinion, with a musician, and it was my favorite musician of all time. So as a guitar, I've said this before, and I'm going to end on this note. My favorite guitar players is Michael Montgomery, and I like Bob Schneider. Those are some of my favorite guitar players. My favorite bass player, which is really what really is to my core, matters to me the most, is Marcus Miller. Marcus Miller is you can see it right now. I'm just getting a little like fanboy choked up. Like, I love Marcus Miller. So if you don't know who Marcus Miller is, you're missing out. He's just an amazing producer and bass player. So I got to meet Marcus Miller with my wife and Ralph at a NAMM event for Fender. So it was a private type event, and he was there. And I was standing there. It was the only time I've ever pulled this crap, where I was standing there and my wife's like, "You need to go say hi to him?" I'm like, "Yeah." And then like 5 minutes go by and she's like, "I don't think he's going to stay here all night. You should go say hi to him." I'm like, "Oh yeah, I will." And then nothing was happening, right? So finally she's like, "I think you're going to regret if you don't go meet him." So I go up to him. I'm standing there. They're standing around him. People are standing around. You know how that they do the half moon circle around the famous person, waiting to get their time with them. And I go up, and I've never had such a brain fart moment in my life. When I walked up to Marcus Miller, I said, this is what I said to him. I said, "You're Marcus Miller. You're amazing." And then Ralph, because he's a douche, and he's probably watching this right now. So Ralph, you're a douche. Ralph goes, "Hey, you just told him who he was like you didn't know his name." And then I turned around and my wife took the picture, which I have framed, which is the dumbest thing ever. And the picture is Marcus Miller, who is the coolest guy on the planet Earth, with his pork pie hat and his cool glasses, and he's just freaking cool. And I go, "That's my face. Look, that's my face. That's the face I made," which is me reacting to Ralph saying that crappy thing. I hope that makes some of you laugh, because it took me 10 years. That was probably 10 years ago. It's taken me 10 years to not be traumatized by that event. Which has always upset me for the years, because I want to tell people I actually met my idol, but the way I met him was so awkward and silly. And then I walked away, and I just think he thought, I don't know what he thought. Yeah. So I hope that makes you feel good. If you ever meet one of your idols, I don't think you could do it worse than that. All right. How are we doing? I think that's it. Is that the end? Let me make sure I didn't miss a super chat. I don't want to have somebody be left out. Probably got one or two quick ones we'll do. We got Healthy Chicken. Yeah, Healthy Chicken says, "What's your favorite What's your favorite year of Gibson Les Pauls?" 2005. I think for some reason 2005. Every Les Paul has passed on my bench. Every Les Paul I've played. 2005 standards tend to be on the average for me. Lighter, which I love, and the neck carve that has more of a C to it. I've always loved the 2005 era Les Pauls. That's it. I don't know what that is. It's I'd love to say sometimes 2006, but it's 2005. So weird that I had a very specific answer to that question. Joe McKinney says, "Thoughts on removing the finish off a neck of a custom shop Strat? Love the guitar, but the finish on the neck is not as smooth as I want. Worried about resale." Well, I mean, if your custom shop Strat's not relicked, yeah, it's going to be a problem if it's relicked. It is going to affect the resale, but you have to decide. You know what I mean? What I will tell you, Joe, is this. Again, every piece of advice I give on this live show is just me. It's like what I would do for me. If I'm afraid to mod a guitar and I don't love the guitar and something's bugging me about it, then the guitar has to go. That's just how it works. It's got to be great and I got to love it, or it's got to go. And I find that you'll just torture yourself until you either sell it or you fix it. If it's a custom shop Strat, which is expensive, and if you love it and that's the issue, there is an alternative to that. Take it to a professional, certified Fender center that has a nice luthier with a great reputation and ask him to do it. He'll do a fantastic job. pay for it. It'll be worth the money. What could it cost you? A couple $100 for them to basically put a, they can do, do it. That's what I would recommend. Don't do it yourself if you're worried about it. Litvey, hey, Litvey, said, just because, drop it in for a second, we'll watch tomorrow. Great, I appreciate it. I got 2,000 FTs. I don't know what that is, but that's pretty cool. So there you go. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed the Black Friday show. I hope you guys find some cool gear this weekend, or I hope you spend some time with your families. I hope you do both, actually. I will give you guys some kind of update on how the hell this spicy chicken disaster goes. There you go. Like I said, I can't promise that I'll have footage for you guys, but I promise to have results for you. And at the very least, maybe a picture for Instagram and stuff like that. I'll make sure I'll do some kind of updates again, and let you know. Again, I'll let you know. It seems like the worst decision ever. All right, on that note, I'm going to let you guys go. Thank you guys so much today for hanging out. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Please leave comments down below. Push a like and stuff like that. It helps the video grow. And I guess that matters on YouTube. You know what? To be honest, I'm just happy you guys hang out with me every Friday. How about that? On that note, I will let you guys go. Till next week, thanks for your time and know your gear.